My brother strongly believed that there is a ghost that followed him everywhere he go up until this day. So here's the backstory. My mom had 4 children, Antoine, Anthony, Latrice, and me. So by this time, my mom was living in Cleveland, Ohio, and she had our first son by the name of Antoine. She was about 16, 17 years old when she birthed this child. So she had a neighbor by the name of Mrs. McGraw. And this is where the story gets very interesting. Mrs. McGraw was an elderly lady, but however, she loved and was infatuated with Antoine. She would keep him, babysit him. She would do anything for that baby. But the thing about it is, Mrs. McGraw became very ill. You know, she was elderly, so she was getting sicker by the day. My mom's son, Antoine, got sick as well, and she took him to the hospital. Now, this was during the 80s. And during the 80s, any baby that had a fever or was sick or just wasn't feeling well, they automatically said it was meningitis. And so she allowed them to do a spinal tap to draw some fluid off his spine. It might have could have been fluid or blood, but I'm not sure. And remind y'all, Antoine was 6 months when he got a spinal tap. And after that happened, my mom proceeded to say that she was outside listening and she heard the doctor say, we him. And I'm not going to say the word, but y'all get my drift. So they handed my mom's 6-month baby back to her, and she said when she got him, blood was coming out of his diapers, out of the crease of his diapers. You can only imagine a young mother who just became a mom who lost their child by trusting the medical profession. But that's not where we're headed. So after they had unalived my brother, and my mom went back home after all this had happened, and Mrs. McGraw was so ill that she ended up going to the hospital, and that's where she later on passed away at. But during that time, she never told Mrs. McGraw that what happened to Antoine is because she didn't want her to, stress and worry when she's already on her sick bed, okay? So make a long story short, my brother comes along. My mom had him a few years later, 2 years later. And when he turned about 7 or 8, now remind y'all, we're still living in this house in Cleveland, Ohio. And this is where the story gets interesting. Y'all know those mirrors back in the 80s where you can flip, you can stand them up, but it's like a mirror you can flip? Well, my brother was standing in that mirror. Remind you, my mom never mentions Mrs. McGraw's name to anyone ever again. She never said anything about her name to my brother or to me. So one day my brother was standing in the mirror and he proceeded to see this woman, and he took off running downstairs, and he told my mom, like, Mom, it's a woman in the mirror. She was staring at me. She was looking at me, and she kept on going like this. Like she was adoring me. Like she just loved me so much. Now remind y'all, this is the spooky part because he started to describe the woman. And he described how Mrs. McGraw looked, what she was wearing, how her hair was, how her face was, her skin complexion, everything. That's why it is scary. My mom kind of panicked because she knew that he was talking about Mrs. McGraw, and she never told him how Mrs. McGraw looked. It was never no pictures around the house. Nobody knew how this woman looked. And so my brother still to this day believes that Mrs. McGraw followed him everywhere he go. And to be honest, he does have this supernatural feeling. He can go into someone's house and be like, yeah, there's a ghost here. There's a ghost there. I don't know. What do y'all think about that? Do y'all think it's Mrs. McGraw that is following him everywhere he go? And because she maybe don't know that Antoine actually passed away, and she thinking that Antoine is my brother Anthony.